Well, it's been a few weeks since I was here with you. It was Easter morning. Where is everybody? The place was running over Easter morning. Where are they now? I sure am glad to be here. I want to thank your rector, Don, for inviting me to come preach for him today. He just got back from Germany late yesterday. I could tell he was anxious. He called me last night and said, "You still coming tomorrow?" I said, "Oh yeah, I don't want those people to have to hear some jet-lagged sermon this morning." So he spent all that time in Germany, and I just wanted to ask you, Don, you're not leaning toward becoming a Lutheran, are you? He was telling me a while ago about the church at Wittenberg where Luther nailed his 95 Theses on the door. I've never been there, but I hope to go one day. Thank you, Don, for the privilege this morning of speaking to these wonderful people. And we have some people here this morning who are very good friends of mine, who came all the way from Gainesville, Georgia. Of course, Bill, you and Helen come from, you come every Sunday all the way from Gainesville. But thank you. Thank you for being here this morning. And thank all of you who are here every Sunday for the very warm welcome. I'm very grateful to be here. I love the gospel reading for this morning. In Luke chapter 10, things are really beginning to happen with Jesus by now. He's already sent out 72 people to go ahead of him to prepare the villages for his coming. He's becoming something of a star by now. People are really getting to know him. He's just told the parable of the Good Samaritan in Luke's Gospel. And then Luke tells us the story of Martha and Mary. You heard the reading just a moment ago, but I want to highlight two verses. A woman named Martha opened her home to him. She had a sister called Mary who sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he said. I've heard many sermons on Martha and Mary. Martha always seems like the bad girl and Mary the good girl. But the truth is we need both in our lives. We need both within each of ourselves. We need a little of Martha in us and a little of Mary in us as well. But where I really want to go with this morning is to begin by saying there is a big difference in an event and an encounter. There's a big difference in an event and an encounter. An event is taking place in the home of Martha and Mary. And it was an event. Because Jesus had become so popular, people were flocking to him now. I mean, he was known as a rabbi unlike any other. He had started this movement against legalism and in favor of grace and the true nature of God, which is love. He had healed people all along the way. He taught as one with authority and not as the scribes and Pharisees, the Gospels tell us. So Jesus had become somebody by now. This baby born in a manger, who had grown into a young man who went out into the desert for 40 days and nights, has now begun preaching and teaching. And at one point, some of the Pharisees say, "Look, the whole world has gone after him." His teachings are spreading all across Capernaum, throughout Galilee, and now beginning to reach even into Jerusalem. Martha and Mary lived not far from Jerusalem. So this was an event taking place. I mean, they were having somebody who had become quite famous in their home. Have you ever played host to somebody famous? A few years ago, we had a lecture series at Brenau University. We invited Marcus Borg, who is one of the best known, and by the way, he just died a couple of years ago. But Marcus Borg was one of the best known theologians and thinkers and philosophers in this country and across the world. He's written so many books, I can't even begin to remember all of them. So here we had Marcus Borg coming, And Barbara Brown Taylor was there. All of you Episcopalians will know exactly who that is. She's one of my good friends too, and I love her. So some of the group said, we need to host them for a dinner and have a question and answer time and let Marcus Board just speak to a few people instead of to the big crowd. So I immediately spoke up and I said, we'll have it at our house. Well, we did. We had 30 people in our house that night. Don was among the group. And I spent the whole day preparing. I had to go get tables and set up. We didn't have enough place to feed 30 people. I had to go get all those chairs from the church. I had to... My pickup truck worked overtime that day. And not only that, I had to spend an hour with my Husqvarna blower, getting everything ready out front and all the leaves away and making the place look great. Then I welcomed everybody as they came in. Some of them were people I didn't know. Tried to make all of them feel very much at home. Had flowers all over the house. It was quite a day. And then during the event itself, and it was an event, I had to make sure everybody had plenty to drink. There were a lot of Episcopalians there, so we had to have a lot of wine. I had to make sure they had plenty to drink, be sure that their plates were refilled if they needed it, getting up the plates, cleaning up the plates. And do you know what? When Marcus Board left that night and Barbara Brown Taylor left that night, it dawned on me, I couldn't tell you one word they said. This is what it was all about. And I missed it. Because I was Martha. I was so busy with an event that I missed the encounter. It happens, doesn't it? When I went to bed that night, I did not lie down dazzled and inspired from what I heard. I lay down totally exhausted and went right to sleep and promptly forgot all about it. So I can identify with Martha. In fact, I'm natured a lot more like Martha than I am Mary. Ask me to sit still and be quiet for a while, and I'll become like Martha right away, distracted by many things, thinking about everything. And did I do this? And have I checked this off my list? And so forth. Many of you can identify with that, I'm sure. Martha opened her home to Jesus. But Mary listened to Jesus. Martha had an event. Mary had an encounter. Big difference. But the truth is, we need both. I mean, somebody's got to do the preparation, somebody's got to cook, somebody's got to prepare and get everything ready. But we also need people who not only see after the details, but people who are present and who listen and who learn and whose lives are deepened because of it. So the truth is, each of us needs the spirit of Martha and the spirit of Mary in our lives. I need to make time for business, but I need to take time for God. I need the work day and I need the Sabbath day. And so do you. We need potatoes and beans and bread and lamb, as they would have had. Here it would be chicken. We're in North Georgia. We need all of that, but we can't really live on that alone. Jesus said that, didn't he? We do not live by bread alone, but by what comes from the mouth of God. And then I love verse 40. But Martha was distracted. I have a soft spot for Martha because I'm so easily distracted. And by the way, who is not? Who's not distracted these days? We live in a distracted world. I went to a retail store a while back. I'm so skinny, I need some new jeans. So I went in to buy the jeans, and I said to the clerk, I want to buy a pair or two of jeans. He said, all right. He said, what kind? I said, I just want a pair of jeans. He said, well, we've got slim fit, easy fit, relaxed fit. We've got acid washed, faded, regular. We've got button fly, regular fly. I said, good grief, I just want a pair of jeans. And by the time he finished showing me all this stuff, I walked out without anything. I just figured I'd tighten a notch on my belt and keep the jeans I had. It wasn't worth all the trouble. We have so many choices, there's so much going on, and so we're easily distracted. Did you know that there are 175 kinds of salad dressing? When I go to a restaurant, I want to say, just pour something on it. I don't really care. It's too hard to make so many choices about so many things. It's easy to be distracted. And events are laden with distractions. But an encounter zeroes in on what's important. An encounter focuses the mind and the heart. I need to sit more often in Mary's spot. Choose the better part. Quiet myself. I need to spend more time like Mary, being present to God, opening my heart to God. And I know that. And I'm working on it. But it's not easy. So I want to end by saying this to you. Real hospitality means preparing for your guest. That's true. But even more, it means being present when your guest is there. It's the one thing needed. And I tell you, I hope I'll choose it a whole lot more. Amen.